All right. Hey, everybody. This is Rosh, and you're watching FM3 Basics. This is a tutorial series that I'm putting together to help new and experienced users program all their Fractal audio products, including the FM9, the FX3, and the FM3. So a little about myself. Once again, my name is Rosh, and I am a guitar player and a guitar tech out here in the Los Angeles area. I build and program a lot of guitar rigs for a lot of different clients. Some of my clients include Steve Vai, Leppard, Bush, Papa Roach, Melissa Etheridge, and more. So I wanted to give back to the Fractal community and, help users program all their units, show some tips and tricks of how to program all the Fractal units. And in this case, this is for the FM3. So this format's going to be a little bit different than some of my FM3 videos. If you've been watching this YouTube channel lately, I've been doing a lot of live setups. So I just wanted to go over a bunch of different live setups that you may run into using either the FM3 or the FM9 or the FX3. So as a working musician in LA, I'm presented with a lot of different challenges and a lot of different situations where I'm going to have to amplify the guitar. Now, the Fractal, all the Fractal units, one of the key things about them is that they are extremely versatile in a lot of different situations. That's why I use them all the time when I'm playing gigs. And so in this case, the FM3, what we're going to do is I'm going to go over like a setup for how to, use it with in-ears. So this particular setup is going to be using a Shure PSM 200, and I'm just going to reach out a frame and grab this. And so the Shure PSM 200 is a really great unit. It's affordable. And it's something that you can like easily squeeze into like a pedal board bag or anything like that. And in this particular case, I'm using the Shure PSM 200 with the body pack, and then I have JH Audio molded in-ears. Now, with the FM3, one of the challenges that differentiates it with the FM9 is that the FM3 only has two pairs of stereo outs. There's out 1 and out 2. So I generally run mono, and so what we're going to do is, in the live portion of when I'm on site at the venue, I'm going to kind of walk through how I do this. But the cool thing about the PSM 200 in particular, this model and this unit, is that they have combo jacks right here. So the combo jacks means that it can take 1/4-inch cables or XLR cables, or a combination of both using both inputs. So with the FM3, what you can do is you can actually use output 2, and you can send output 2 into the in-ear monitors and then output 1 to front of house. So a lot of clients ask me like, hey, I want to run stereo both into my ears and into front of house. How can I do that with the FM3? So what you can do is with a unit like this, you can take the 1/4-inch inputs coming out of output 2, and then you can take the XLR inputs going to front of house out of output 1 on the FM3. And you'll see, I'm just going to like kind of like splice this video in there of how to set that up. So when you're using the output copy output 1 to output 2 parameter in the setup audio tab of FM3 Edit, what that does is it makes a carbon copy of the output 1, but it also sends it on output 2. And what you can do is coming out of output 2, you can plug it right into your in-ear unit using a 1/4-inch cable or 2 1/4-inch cables if you're running stereo. And then you have independent control from the FM3. So output 1, you would set that for front of house, let the sound engineer handle it unless you're setting up your own PA. And then output 2, the cool thing is you can reach down there and turn it up or down if you need to, and then send it to your in-ear rig. Now, my personal particular in-ear setup is that I run mono. And so what this allows you to do is that I'm going to send from output 1 of the FM3, the left side or the right side, one of the sides is I'm going to send it to front of house. Doesn't really matter which one because I'm using copy left, right parameter in the audio tab. And what that does is it just makes it mono, and it's a carbon copy of both outputs. Now, what I'm going to do is one output is going to go to front of house, and the sound engineer gets that. The other output is going to go right into this in-ear monitor. And then this is the, what sends the audio to your body pack. Now, a lot of people ask, well, how am I supposed to independently control, like if I need more guitar in my ears? Now, on the FM9, you can adjust some of the output knobs to do that. On the FM3, Obviously, if you adjust the output 1 knob and you turn that up to get more, guitar in your ears, that's also going to send more guitar to front of house, and you generally want to keep those independent of each other. So with a unit like this, if I'm going into this input right here, I can actually just turn up this knob right there if I need more guitar. So when I transition this video into the live setup, I'll go more into detail, but basically I'm taking the guitar into one input and I'm taking a feed from front of house directly into this input. And then so with these two knobs right here on the Shure PSM 200, this would turn up what's coming into here, and then this would turn up what's coming into this input, and they're independent of each other. So what I do is I have a guitar going in here, and then everything else going into the other one, and then I can actually reach down and turn this up or down as I need it, to make a mix between how much guitar I need in my mix and how much I need of everything else. I generally only mix basically vocals in my ears, maybe a little bit of bass and keys, depending on how big a stage is. But we're going to be playing, the House of Blues, one of the House of Blues stages, one of the smaller stages. So it's a really small setup. I don't need a lot in my mix because I can generally hear from the stage sound through my ears anyway. And I've definitely been known to just pull one ear out if I need to hear a little bit more of something. So, but the cool thing is I'll have this set up right next to my FM3, and then it's going to be facing me. And what I can do is I can just, reach down, turn this up if I need more of a mix adjustment in my ears, and then output 1 knob on the FM3 I leave alone. So again, I'm running mono. One side goes to front of house, one side goes into here. Out of output 2 on the FM3, nothing, I'm not sending anything. I'm not using output 2. If you watch a previous FM3 video, output 2, I generally reserve for running into an effects loop or an effects return of an amp, or running into, a power amp in a cabinet. There's other videos that I have on my channel that deal with that, but this is going to be mainly dealing with in-ears. Now, a couple quick things to consider. Again, you want to try to send a signal into here and then use this for your adjustments. So rather than doing the adjustments on the FM3, because then it's also going to affect the front of house sound. Now, a couple other things that that you may run into in a situation like this is also just making sure that you're using the headphone jack on the FM3. Dial them in with your in-ears to make sure that it sounds really good in your ears, as well as going to front of house, okay? So obviously with a speaker right up against your ear, that's way different than, using studio monitors or even dialing it in a live room with a PA system and everything. Our ears are gonna, determine how certain things sound depending on the proximity of the sound source to your ear. So yes, of course, in-ears are always going to sound different than what's coming out of front of house, what's coming out of a PA speaker. So there's a couple things you can do. You can always compensate with a graphic EQ, global EQ to make sure that it sounds good. And then you may have to make priorities with which is going to sound better. So if you are going out of output 1 and output 1 is going both into the in-ears and front of house, you have to find a compromise of what's going to sound good in the ears and also sound good in the house. Now, if you're going out of output 1 into front of house and output 2 into your in-ear system, you can put a graphic EQ or even use the global EQ of output 2 and then make some tweaks and adjustments in the in-ears. And that's the feed that's just going directly into the in-ears and making that sound good. You can compensate for your in-ear molds, your in-ear kind of like how many drivers you have in each ear. I'm very lucky that I have a great set of molded ears. I use the JH Audio 16s, like I said earlier. So they have like 8 drivers per side. So I get a really great mix. I can hear a lot of clarity, a lot of low end, high end, mid range, everything. And it sounds really good. So a lot of different options when you're using in-ears with the FM3. And again, really convenient, keeps stage clutter, to a minimum in terms of like, volume and sound and everything like that. But what we're going to do is I'm going to transition this video to the to the venue and walking through what I do live. Again, I'm running mono. I don't really feel compelled to ever run stereo unless, I'm doing a tour or working for a specific gig where I need stereo sounds and stereo presets. Mono generally will kind of cover everything I need to do. But if you're running stereo to front of house, and then stereo to ears using output 1 and output 2. All right, hey everybody. So I want to do a quick rig rundown here. We're here at the House of Blues, Anaheim. And this is the FM3 rig. So with this setup, basically what's happening is you can ignore that pedal. That's just to turn charts. Got my FM3 here, expression and volume control. This is an air step. This is just to add extra MIDI functionality to this. So I'm basically running direct to front of house, and I'm using my in-ear setup right here. This is a Shure PSM 200 in-ear rig, and then I'm basically going into a body pack with JH Audio in-ear monitors that are molded to my ears. Now, this is a really great, simple setup because I'm running mono, and what I'm doing is basically, if you look at these cables right here, that's the output 1 XLR cables. I'm going on the left side, I'm going directly into my in-ears on the left side there, and then the right side is going to front of house. And so they get a mix. Since we're running mono and I'm using the copy left-right setup in the output 1 tab, these are just clones of each other. So one side goes to front of house, the other side goes to my in-ear rig right here. Now the left side of this in-ear rig is controlled by the left knob right there, and then the right side is I'm getting a feed from front of house for my in-ear mix. And basically the in-ear mix has a little bit of bass, mostly vocals, and that's kind of about it. And what this allows you to do is that I can turn up the left knob for my more guitar in my in-ear mix, and then the right knob for more of the vocals and the regular in-ear mix. So these are independently controlled of each other. And what I do is the output 1 knob there is set up, and we set that at sound check, and then I leave that alone. Now this is different from like an FM9 rig where you can like turn that knob up and down. I just set that, leave it alone, set it and forget it. And then basically if I need to adjust my mix on the fly during the gig, I can always reach down there and adjust those 2 knobs for my in-ear mix. The left side being more guitar, the right side being more of like the in-ear mix. And then of course I can make any fine adjustments with my volume and expression pedal. We have some wedges here. You know, this is a pretty small stage, but as you can see, there's no amp or anything beside me. The drummer gets a wedge over there, and then the bass player also gets a wedge, and then the singer gets a wedge, and then I'm just running in-ears. Really great setup. And of course, I can always turn the body pack up or down, just reach into my pocket and turn it up or down. So really great setup, super flexible. And again, you're just using the FM3. You don't need to use output 2 or anything. So that's going to be basically it for this rig rundown. All right, everybody. So thank you guys so much for watching this channel. I really appreciate it. If you guys need any help, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to reach out to me directly. If you guys need any one-on-one help, I do a lot of remote consults and a lot of remote sessions. Would be happy to help you out and program all your Fractal units. Feel free to contact me directly. And once again, thank you so much to everybody watching this channel and sharing it. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
I'm falling with you. I'm standing with you.